Okay, so I'm recording now. So again, we want the GCF, right? And the GCF is b x to the m, right? M is the smallest exponent of x, right? But if there's a non-zero constant term, we take m to be 0. And that's what happens here, right? We have 7, as you can see. Here, let me do this. We have 7, as you can see, right? That's a non-zero constant term. So we take m to be 0, mostly because you can't factor out a variable from each term. Right? 7 doesn't have a variable in it. Is that making sense?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Again, I have to ask that because I can't see your faces. So, but now for the coefficients, right? Well, the leading one is a 1, right? And the factors of 1 are just 1 itself, right? 1 is the only factor of itself, okay? That tells you the only common factor in this case is 1. What was that? Okay. Didn't know what that was. But we get b is equal to 1 though, because again, you look normally at the greatest common factor among the coefficients and the constant term, but the only factor of 1 is 1. So the only common factor you can have is 1. Okay, so our GCF then is just 1. So you really can't factor out the GCF. That's not going to help us. Okay, now I'm running out of room. Let me see if I can make more room here. Oh boy, I miss teaching in class. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to try and make more room. Bear with me. Oh man, that's awesome. Okay, that should be good, right? Okay, so now we want two numbers, right? Whose product is 7. That's the constant term. The sum has to be 8. Okay? Well, what two numbers are going to pull that off? What two numbers can you multiply to get 7? But if you add them, you get 8. How about 7 and 1, right? 7, 1. Right? Those work. So because of that, we get x squared plus 8x plus 7, right? That's equal to x plus 7 times x plus 1. So that's the first one. Okay. Are there any? Wait, here. Let me do it this way. Let me get the poll. All right. Yes. No. Any? Any? No, not any questions. Does that make sense? Oh, someone has a question. Awesome. Yes.
Now, when we're doing like the problem, do we have to show like the m equals 0, b equals 1, like what the GCF is?
No, not here.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I was doing that because someone in the class asked me about the GCF just now, and I wanted to make sure everyone understands. I'm showing more steps than I would expect you to show on a quiz or something.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Any other questions?
Would it matter like whether or not it was x plus 7 then x plus 1 or x plus 1 and then x plus 7?
No. You can multiply in any order you want, so you'll get the same thing.
How many steps do you have to show on a quiz?
On a quiz, if you can show just this, that's all I'm looking for.
Okay.
Okay? Good. Awesome. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, let me do another one then, okay? All right. Okay, Microsoft Whiteboard, please behave. Here we go. That worked. Let's see, can everyone see that? But let me just make sure I fix it. One sec, I just gotta fix something. There we go. Okay. Okay, let me see if this works. Yes. Getting the hang of this. Awesome. Because again, the other class I was doing something wrong and Microsoft Whiteboard was acting funny. So anyway. So we have n squared minus 11n plus 10. Again, instead of x, we have a different variable. They're calling it n. But it's really the same process, right? We have, we have a leading coefficient of 1. That's over here, right? Remember, if it's 1, we don't write it. The coefficient, that is. There's 3 terms, and it's degree 2. So because of all that, we can use this method where we want two numbers whose product is the constant term, in this case 10, and whose sum is the coefficient of the middle term. In other words, the coefficient of n in this case. I mean, I know if it was x, you would have the coefficient of x, but same idea. So we want two numbers, okay, whose product is 10, whose sum is negative 11. Okay, well, what two numbers are going to pull that off, though? How about, well, someone in my other class said 10 and 1. Is that going to work?
No.
No, it's not going to work, right? Because we want the sum to be negative 11, not 11. So we have this. So what we can do, however, is negate everything. But you have a question? Okay. Okay, so because of that, right, we get x minus 10 times x minus 1. Okay, so again, let me say it again because it might be a little confusing, right? Instead of x, we have the variable n. So we had x squared plus capital Bx plus c, right, where x is our variable. Let me just move this. We have x squared plus bx plus c, right? I mean, in this case, we have n, right? Leading coefficient is 1, right? There's 3 terms, and the degree is 2. We have that here. Basically, n is taking the role of x. That's why we can use this method. Okay. Let me do another one, all right? Okay, let me, bear with me. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, let me just make sure this works. Sweet, it works. All right. Okay, so that one, m squared plus m minus 90, okay? Okay, so again, we have 3 terms, right? This is a polynomial. There's 3 terms. The leading coefficient's 1, degree, and it's degree 2. So we can try this method. All right. So we want two numbers whose product, right? Negative 90. The sum has to be 1. Right? 1 is the coefficient of the middle term, the m in this case. Okay, so what two numbers are going to pull that off, though? Anyone?
10 and negative 9.
10 and negative 9. Very good. We have 10, negative 9, 10, negative 9, right? And what's that? So because of that, we get our answer is x plus 10 times x minus 9. Okay? So let me do one more. I'll do number 4, okay? Then we'll get them to new stuff. All right, let me shift this. Okay. Let me just move this. I gotta move. Okay. Let's make sure this works. Okay, hold on. Let's let it catch up. And okay, let me just. Okay, there we go. Okay. Good. Oh, that's not. Okay, so now let me do this. Okay, so same idea, right? We have 3 terms, right? We have 3 terms. The degree is 2, right? And the leading coefficient is 1. Okay? And remember, just like before, if you did try to factor out the GCF, just like in the first one we did, you would get it's going to be 1. Okay, so we want 2 numbers whose product is negative 12. The sum is 4. Okay? 2 numbers whose product is the constant term, negative 12. The sum is the coefficient of the term, in this case 4. Well, what 2 numbers will pull that off? How about 6 and negative 2? Also, I think it was Daniel who said it before, since we have a negative since the constant term is negative, that tells you the signs of the 2 numbers have to be opposite. You know, one's positive, one's negative. So because of that, we get x, oh no, excuse me, not x. Oh, for goodness sakes. Not x, excuse me, we have n. So we have n plus 6 times n minus 2. And that is our answer. Okay. Okay, that was good. Are there any questions about this? So I'm thinking what I'll do now is move on to factor by grouping.
I have a question.
Okay.
On the test, would you want us to write n plus 6 or x plus 6?
I'll give you the variable you'll have to write, which is usually going to be x.
Okay.
So you would write x plus 6.
Okay.
It's whatever the variable is. So, okay. Awesome question. Any other questions?